All right. Welcome to Convos with Mortgage Peeps. I'm your host, Bobby Hanson, and today I'm conversating with Tanya Quackenbush, Senior Loan Officer at Movement Mortgage, based out of Chico, California. She's helped nearly 1,000 families through the home buying process. She's a President's Club top producer, and she has deep, deep roots in the Chico community going back generations. One thing that I respect about Tanya is her ability to build business around relationships and consistently showing up for her clients, which is probably why she has such a strong referral base and so many great reviews. You're going to find out she's very community driven, very referral based, and just does things the right way, which we don't talk about enough in this business. As a side note, I have actually known Tanya for a long time, like before husbands and kids. So this is going to be really fun for me. I'm excited to get into it. Welcome, Tanya.
Thanks, Bobby.
Of course, of course. Well, we love to kick this off with our favorite question, which is, how the heck did you get into the mortgage industry?
Great question. I was 13 when I knew that I wanted to get into the real estate business.
I love that.
I grew up in a tiny home, a family of 4, and a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. And we took in my cousin, and she lived with us too.
Wow.
So for the 13 years, I was just in this condensed little home and didn't know any better until my parents partnered with a realtor and we started looking for a new home to expand our family in. And that's when I really got to know the neighborhoods, and I fell in love with different architect types and landscaping and, picking out where my bedroom's going to be, and bay windows were a cool thing. So anyways, that's when I fell in love with real estate. I was 13. So right after high school, went to our local community college at Butte College and took a couple real estate classes. That was the principles, the practices, and I think my elective one was an appraisal, which I still to this day love the appraisal piece of it.
Yeah.
And, we don't get to tour the homes like realtors do. So that part is always fun to dive into. But yeah, I got licensed. Let's see, 2013 is when I started originating home loans, but I got a job as a loan officer assistant when I was at my community college back in 2006.
Awesome. Being an LOA is such a good way to break in, right? It's such a good way to learn. And me and you were kind of talking a little bit about, finding a good LOA. What was your experience as an LOA?
Yeah, that's where I learned everything. That's where the hands-on experience was the best experience that really got me the knowledge that I have today. Was stepping in and doing loans start to finish, that contract to close piece, and the originating and calculating income was really an aha moment for me, where I'm like, okay, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. Not only do I love real estate itself and the properties, but the calculation of income and having a different borrower every single day and just finding all those puzzle pieces to complete that with a team is really what makes my day.
Awesome. Well, I was going to say, isn't it, at what point did you feel ready to go to loan officer from LOA? Like, was there why am I doing this for somebody when I could do it for myself when you see those big paychecks? What gave you the courage?
That was a big jump. It was a big risk. I was comfortable with the base salary, and I knew it would be a big risk and commission only. I felt like I had been originating as an LOA start to finish, to where once I started finding that I had my friends and my family and clients that were coming to me because of business relationships that I built with realtors and my referring partners, was when I realized, okay, I shouldn't be splitting this anymore. I have enough that I'm doing every day. I think once I had a few loans a month, like 3 to 4, I was like, okay, this is comfortable. I got this. I'd be making a lot more on my own.
Yeah.
And it was a leap, but it was successful, and I'm glad I took the jump.
I love it. Well, you have helped so many families over the years. So how did you actually build your business once you were on your own?
Referral partners is huge. I think still realtors to this day is one of my number one referring partners. Once I started diving into building the relationships with attorneys and CPAs and financial advisors, I would really hone in on not just realtors, but finding other professional referral partners in the industry, to build that trust and that foundation to get that repeat business. And doing pop by, show your face, bring a little inexpensive gift that has you top of mind. So when these other referring partners are sitting with their clientele, they think of you when somebody can benefit from a loan officer's assistance.
Yeah. Did you
Yeah.
know the people that you were going into, or did you walk into offices cold and you were like, hey, this is who I am, this is what I do?
Yeah, I walked in not knowing anybody. I definitely have to get comfortable being uncomfortable, right?
I love it.
And put yourself out there. And yeah, mostly, I mean, I stayed in my hometown, so a lot of clients were either high school friends or people I've known over the years or family friends. But definitely building those referral partners and getting involved with community events and giving back to your community, I think is a huge piece for me. It fulfilled a piece of my heart that I didn't even know was so important. And so Rotary is the club that I'm part of in our town. And prior to Rotary, I was part of the Active 2030 Club. So a very similar idea where we volunteer our time and then we give back to our community, and building business relationships within our club has been a huge referral source for me as well. So time blocking, I think, is super important for anybody to have that time that you're going to commit for anything throughout your day, and making sure that you have that power hour. And then if you have meetings or referral partner pop buys, and be consistent with that,
Yeah,
is what's going to help like scale that business.
I love that. Those are the things I feel like that people don't really talk about, but that's the day to day. It's like you're on, you're out, you're uncomfortable, and you're meeting people, because everybody can be a client. I think that's what people forget as a new loan officer. It's like, oh, it's these specific people, but everybody can buy a house for the most part, right? So everybody is a client and everybody is a referral partner. So representing yourself that way is so important.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to ask. Do you know anybody who's in the market? Do you know anybody who bought in the last few years? They probably need to refinance right now.
Right.
So
Or have
yeah,
questions, or just need some guidance. Everybody I know that owns a house is like, what should I do? How can I do this? What about that? So be the person. Show
yeah.
up, be that person. You obviously have built your business on relationships. So can you walk us through a day in the life, like a standard day, like how you do your business?
So Tuesday morning, since this is a Tuesday morning for us, I'll just run through a typical Tuesday. Well, after kid drop-offs.
Mom
So
business.
got two little ones, yeah, dropping them off at school. I come in and had my first face-to-face with a realtor, and we meet every 2 weeks and we record reels. So I think that's another key aspect to get yourself out there and show your face and share your knowledge. Read every single morning. I take in what's going on in the market. MBS Highway is awesome. There's a lot of great resources out there to just gain the knowledge on what's happening in the market. And then don't be afraid to get on your story and go live to share what's going on. I think that's helped for gaining clientele and referring partners. And again, just getting comfortable being uncomfortable to put yourself out there. It's not easy, but once you get into the routine, and if it wasn't for this realtor partner to want to do this with me, I probably wouldn't be doing it. So partner up, find an accountability partner. That's huge.
I love
And
that.
then, yeah. And then sometimes I didn't have any clients here today. I just had a couple calls scheduled for new apps. But yeah, I would schedule face-to-face in between my morning meet with my referring partner and then Rotary. So I'll take off at noon and go to Rotary. And then from Rotary, I go straight to picking up the kids and then taking them to their after school activities. And then I usually will knock out some more calls, or sometimes I run back to the office if I need to.
Yeah. Well, I
And
think too, it's an opportunity, even at those kids' pickups, the bus stops, the things, like to put in what you do, to let everybody know that you do loans. And it seems weird that you would say it to everybody, but I think the most successful people are telling as many people, right? Would you agree?
yeah, yeah, I think a name tag is a great idea. I just put mine back in my car. I came across it. I'm like, I just need this in my car and handy. But that was one thing I did when I was new in the industry. And it's so true. It's if you have it on while you're walking through the grocery store, just your day to day, and people see it and they're going to start like just connecting you with your industry and know that you're a professional and that they can rely on you to help them with any of their real estate needs.
I
So I
love
think
that.
that's
One other thing too that you said that I thought was really important was finding your referral partners and having, I always talk about being authentic with who you are. Like just because you're in a business, maybe you don't think you're a finance person or that people are going to listen to you, but just for taking the NMLS test, you already know more than most people. So, right, you're sharing that knowledge. And when you can find a good partner who is like-minded, who is, kind of shares the way that you do business, I think that is huge. I love your reels. You guys have to follow Tanya. Their reels are so good. And just find some good referral partners. So get out, ask, and show up.
yeah. And you don't need all referral partners. You don't need to hit up all new realtors. In fact, I did a lot of that as a new loan officer. I would seek out the new realtors when really I should have been trying to get those seasoned realtors that have a ton of business that and start building that trust and relationship early on.
How do
And
you
you
get
don't have
access to them when you're new?
MLS. So Wednesdays I do the MLS meetings, and
Okay.
you get in front of them. I find every meeting I go to, somebody comes up and asks some kind of question or mentions that they have a client that's looking that isn't connected with a lender yet. So I actually get quite a bit from that. And then if there is a realtor that's got a home on tour that does a lot of business, or sometimes they are new and I can tell that their energy is great and they're going to do phenomenal and they're kicking off their business strong, then maybe it is somebody I still want to connect with and I'll tour their particular home. So I leave my Wednesday morning open for that. And then if I do have any like last minute clients or rushes, I can always fill in
Yeah.
on that day.
Tell me a little bit more about the MLS. Like, how would a new loan officer get involved in that? Is that something they can find online, or is that through the realtor websites? How do they figure
Yeah,
out where those happen?
there should be a local association in town where, yeah, I mean, you would definitely want to become an affiliated member of part of that multiple listing service. We don't get access as affiliates to the listings online, but we are listed on their website, and then we are welcome to attend their broker tour meetings, their MLS meetings.
Okay,
And
that's huge. That's where you're
that,
going to meet all the people. And I feel like when you, and give me your feedback, but I feel like when you show up to those, especially your first few, you're kind of a fly on the wall, you're just meeting people. Maybe you're not standing up at the first one, maybe you're not, but you're there, you're showing your face. And one of the big things in this industry is going to be consistency, because real estate agents don't mess around, right? They have a million loan officers that they can choose from. So if you go sometimes and not other times, right, you want to show up consistently, and don't expect to get a deal the first time, the second time. Like, how long did it take you to get a deal from going to that event? even as a seasoned person?
Yeah, great question. I feel like a lot of my realtor referring partners I gained by showing them my service throughout a transaction when they were a listing agent. So I can be consistent and ask for business, but they might have their relationship with another lender, but don't let that stop you from engaging and pursuing a referring partner that you want to work with.
Right.
And I ask them questions too. I would ask them, like, what are your challenges that you're facing with your current lender? What are they not providing that you would expect them to provide? Like, can I provide other value? And I think just being authentic, like you said,
Yeah.
and being more personable. And when I have a client that I chat with who's looking to get pre-qualified, and I know that they're looking and seeking out other lenders, I find that the conversations that they're having with these other lenders aren't as personable. And I think that's something that I touch on authentically, I guess. I don't know. I'm a little more bubbly and personable, and you gotta just ask those questions of why they're buying a home and what's important to them and what are their goals. And you get to know if they have a family and pets. And I make little notes like that. So when I touch base with them again, I have something to ask, if they're hopping off a phone call because they have an event, or whatever the case may be, just pick up on those small things.
Yeah.
And just being more personable, I think, has been a big strength for scaling my business.
Yeah. Well, what would you say, and I don't know if this is helpful, but because I'm also a bubbly person, I can go and talk to everybody and anybody all day long. But we do have people in this industry that are like, that is the fear. That is the scary thing. And what advice, if any, as bubbly people could we offer to those people?
Befriend a bubbly person.
Yeah. Find a bubbly referral partner or accountability partner to do the things with.
Yeah, accountability partner is great, even if it's a quick, like 10, 15-minute call a week, just to run through little scripts and just getting comfortable with those pieces.
Yeah.
And the more you get out on social media, the easier it becomes. It's not, even as a bubbly person, it's not easy. I don't want to do that, and I won't do it by myself. So it takes that referral partner or friend or an accountability partner to make it happen.
Yeah, I love that. Your opposite, your partner. So I do want to ask, from mom to mom, right? We are in the industry, right? And mortgage loan officers don't have hours. You always are on, right? When somebody calls and wants to find out, you got to kind of stop what you're doing. So how do you balance or stay consistent, in your business as a mom, as a parent?
Great question. Yeah. Time blocking is huge. And I unfortunately didn't, and I'm still working on it, I should say.
Oh, you don't have it all figured out? You're not going to tell us the secret today?
But yeah, I think like family first, and being there for your children and your spouse, and that dinner time. And if a call is coming in at 6 p.m., don't be afraid. Actually, this is huge. I'm glad you brought this up. It made me think of the shortcut for text, like the shortcut text replacement that you can do on your phone. I have so many of those laid out, and I think that's huge, and would highly, highly recommend getting all of those tied in. And you can also use those quick text when you have a call coming in, and send a quick text as your response. So rather than like sending to voicemail, I'm in a meeting, may I ring you back? What is your availability like? That's one of mine. Or I'm wrapping up a call, may I call you right back? But you can create those quick replies to where if you are at a dinner table, like time block that time with your family, and don't let it interfere. And somebody is going to know that it's a Saturday night at 6, you're eating dinner. They shouldn't expect to have you pick up. And if you do, I pick up those calls and they go, oh, I didn't expect you to pick up. I'm like, okay, like now I shouldn't have needed to take that half an hour with my family, and you could. So just be important about like time blocking that space for yourself, for your family,
Yeah.
and then call them back. I mean, I've lost clients because I've sent somebody to a voicemail or I wasn't able to pick right away, and then I call them back and they're already connected with another lender.
It wasn't meant to be in that situation, which I know is hard for new loan officers because every deal in the beginning is like so important. But there are going to be referral partners you don't want to work with that you can say no. There's going to be borrowers that are a nightmare, and you're going to do everything you can to close that deal, but the check won't even be worth it, right? And so setting kind of those boundaries early, I think is really important. Like you're saying, like from 6 to 8, I don't take calls because I'm with my family. I love to do bedtime and it takes forever, right? So it's like setting those boundaries, I think, in the beginning. That is one thing I feel like they don't tell you. They don't tell you a lot of things in the beginning. But we could go back to the beginning. It would be like, yeah, you're working all the time, but don't neglect your life, your family, and your
Right.
peace.
And set that expectation too. I
Yeah.
find often if I'm getting a lead from a realtor, let's say, and it's in the evening time, just to ask, are they expecting a call right now? Or is it okay if I call them in the morning? And almost always they go, oh yeah, tomorrow morning. They don't expect you to stop everything you're doing to go call them right away.
Right.
So just being mindful of your own.
Yeah. And if you do that early, you're going to do that later, right? So set those boundaries early. All right, let's kind of start wrapping up, but I did want to ask you, if you were a brand new loan officer today, you just got your NMLS license, what would today's self tell 20-year ago self?
Yeah, great question. Create a Google business page and start asking for reviews. And you don't need to have one closed loan to get a review. Ask your family, ask your friends. If you go back to past clients, if you have any, and ask them to write a review for you. Ask your realtor friends to write a review for you. Start getting those reviews, and then put it and implement it into your processes, and a task yourself after every closed transaction, ask for a review.
Right.
I think the best time to do that is when you've been cleared to close and you have final approval and they're not yet moving their boxes into a U-Haul and they're just waiting to sign their final loan docs. Get your review then. They're super excited, it's fresh, and they're gonna provide some positive words. I feel like more last year than any year. I think I got more Google referrals. Ask them too, like put it and implement it into your process to ask where they got your contact from if you don't know. And often it was Google. And then more and more now this year, I'm like, how did you hear about me? And it's AI. I'm like, AI. And I think mostly because I have those Google reviews, and that online presence has been super helpful for me.
I don't know the numbers, but I know that it's one of the first places people go. And if there's going to be you against option B and they have 200 reviews, so I think that's such good advice. The other thing that I see too is, a lot of companies will automatically send, review links for you, which is good. But there was more than just a borrower in that transaction. There was an escrow officer, there was a listing agent, there was a selling agent, there was an appraiser. Maybe you're not reaching out to the appraiser. I don't want to break the rules. But, there was a home inspection person. Like there was so many people part that you worked with that you can say, send that link to everybody. Hey, you worked with me. How did I do? Whatever you have to do to beef those up. Obviously, do not lie. Do not make things up. That does not work. I've seen that backfire on people. But really important to start building that trust with your people.
Yes.
So before we close out, what any advice to these new loan officers out there getting into the business?
Have fun. Don't let it stress you out, and work your butt off, because if you work hard, you can play hard, and just lean in with your heart and love more.
Oh, I love that. This was so good. I feel like we could have kept going, but I know you are a busy mom loan officer. So, so much stuff in here for new loan officers. Tanya, thank you so very much. I really appreciate your time. And we will see you guys on the next Combos with Mortgage Peeps. So thank you for joining.
Thank you.